Welcome to Real to the T, where the real gets realer, the tea gets hotter, and the motivation hits harder than your favorite espresso martini. Hosted by Amanda Rupley, top 1% realtor, best-selling author, speaker, and founder of ASPIRE Realty Group. This show is your VIP pass to the chaos, comedy, and candid truth behind real estate, pop culture, and life as a boss mom building an empire. From wild closings to headline-sparking hot takes, and that final sprinkle of inspiration you didn't know you needed, nothing's filtered and nothing's off limits. So buckle up. It's time for Real to the T.
You know what I love most about my guest today? He's the CEO of one of the largest independent real estate brokerages in the country, but he still shows up to Sunday open houses with his wife and kids sometimes in tow, hugs agents at retreats, and walks into the local offices like he works the front desk. Today, I'm sitting down with the man, the myth, the legend, the one who built it all, and more importantly, never forgot who he built it for. Hey everybody, I'm Amanda Rupley, your brutally honest bestie behind the mic. Welcome back to Real to the T, the show where real estate gets real, pop culture gets messy, and we don't gatekeep the good stuff. If it's on my mind, it's on the mic. We have some super exciting stuff for you guys today. Our next guest often appears on CNBC, Fox Business, but you guys, today he's here at Real to the T. We've got so much great stuff in store for you. The reason that I reached out to him to bring him here was that he is so impactful, not only in my own business, but in business for so many people. In real estate, outside of real estate. One of my very first opportunities to engage with him, I was a brand new baby agent, okay? We were working with a developer in another country and presenting and pitching ourselves and our company to this project. And this gentleman was super, super excited about us. He was super excited about the branding. He was super excited about what we brought to the table to represent this development. We were up against some of the biggest names in the industry, some people that they have flown in from LA, Dubai, New York, and he looked at us and he was like, look, you girls are great, but I want to meet your CEO. And so from there, we had gone to our sales manager at the time and had asked, hey, we need to get, this person. And she was like, well, that's not going to happen, but here, let me show you some of the tools that we can use and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, well, that's not good enough. This guy wants to see the CEO. So I literally picked up the phone and called him because, mind you, in the emails that he sends out, his phone number is in his signature. So I'm like, if you don't ask, the answer can always be no, right? So I pick up the phone and I call him and I leave him a message and I'm like, hey, you don't know me. I'm a brand new baby agent. I've only been licensed about 8 months. I'm down here in Dallas, but I need you here on Monday. It's Thursday, by the way, to help us pitch this development to the developer and particularly us representing it, on the listing side of things. I'll pay for your flight. I'll pay for your flight and I'll fly you here, but I need you to get here on Monday. And I hung up the phone. I was like, okay, thanks, bye. And within 15 minutes, his chief of staff had called me. And in 15 minutes thereafter, they had already put us in contact with the head of development, our local managing director for the entire region. And that's all she wrote. You guys, Robert Reffkin is the founder and CEO of Compass, one of the largest independent real estate brokerages in the United States with over 30,000 agents and counting. It also happens to be my brokerage that I am a part of. He is a former White House fellow. I bet you guys didn't know that. A Columbia graduate, a Goldman Sachs alum, and a best-selling author of No One Succeeds Alone. This guy is everything you want to hear from because he has built it from the ground up, from humble beginnings to, major billion-dollar companies. But what makes Robert different, what makes him ours, is how deeply he shows up. He's not just leading from a corner office. He's walking open houses on Sundays. He's attending every retreat party with his amazing wife, Benis, and making time for agents like me to feel seen, heard, and supported. As you just heard that story, He walks the walk, he talks the talk. Today, I am so honored to welcome Robert Reffkin to Real to the T. Hey, Robert. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, as I was just telling everybody that's listening right here, you as a CEO of a billion-dollar company, what speaks volumes to me and so many of my colleagues, whether they're with Compass or just in the industry, is how reachable you are and how present you are. That is not a commodity that we typically see, particularly for somebody of such a large organization. So you lead over 30,000 agents here at Compass. But you and Benis still show up to Sunday open houses and visit local offices across the country whenever you're traveling. Why is staying so hands-on such a priority for you?
Well, I think we're in the people business, and look, I think I get energy from people. Some people lose energy when they have to talk to people. Some people get energy. I think I've always got energy from others. I really feel like we're all building this company together, right? And so when you look at what Compass is today, whether it's the technology platform, whether it's the programs, the offerings, almost every one of those ideas came from our agent community. And so I love going out there, asking what people want. And my goal is to try to take the great ideas that agents have, and bring them to the company and build it so that as many people can have it as possible, whether it's Compass Concierge, where you front load the cost of staging, whether it's the 3-phase marketing strategy, where we pre-market homes, using the same principles as developers and home builders use to pre-market their homes. We've given those to the individual homeowner, or whether it's the CRM or technology platform. But and also, look, I have a pretty good job where I get to see the entire country, our beautiful diversity of our country in all different ways, socially, politically, the geography, the different kinds of people, and so I like it. I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work, I guess, is a way to say it.
I think that that's something that's so special. Also, you kind of started to touch on a little bit. One of my most favorite things that I really hold to the forefront of being here at Compass, I tell you all the time, like I am a lifer. I am here wherever you go, I'm following, right?
I'm not
But
going anywhere.
I know you're not going anywhere, neither am I. But collaborate without ego. And I have had the pleasure to be around you in multiple facets. When I launched Aspire, obviously came and sat in your office there after we did the Times Square billboard, and like just the fact that I can text you and be like, Robert, I'm starting a podcast. Will you come on and talk about the culture that you've created? But you literally pour that from the top down, and it's apparent within the staff that you've hired. It's apparent in the agents that we have. And it's also apparent in you and Benis. How do you stay grounded and humbled?
That's fun.
He said that's fun. I love it.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One, I have 3 kids, and kids will definitely keep you humble.
Isn't that true?
I got
And
a
they're young
6-year-old.
too, right?
What do you say?
They're young too.
Yeah, 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and 11, and they all keep you humble in different ways. The 11-year-old now, she has like the nails and they all the makeup, and the closed door, and it's the craziest thing about my old daughter. She's like figured out like, and I remember I used to do this to my mom, and she and I come into her room, and then I talk, and she's like, "Yeah, Daddy, I love you, and then like it's her way of saying goodbye. Like I'm giving you like the I love you. So like she's now like a pre-tween or whatever you call it. And my middle one keeps me humble. She's pretty tough. She's like a hard one. And then the young one has a lot of energy. He just runs all the time. He always wants to do karate or kung fu. Well, he's 6 years old. It's not real kung fu. But yes, that keeps me humble. It's a lot of fun. And look, my wife, we're very low key. At least I think we are. Agents keep me humble, right? Like agents are my clients. I work for agents, not the other way around. And agents are a very high expectation client base, because I need to work as hard for agents as agents work for their clients. And you obviously work incredibly hard. Now look at you right now. Your screen is perfectly symmetrical. Like, I mean, it is perfect, right? Because
That's
that's the
because I have a
standard.
wonderful editor.
And you have a wonderful, well, you chose a wonderful editor.
True.
Yeah, right. And so it's, you think like why do I call every principal agent that comes to Compass. And I obviously work weekends, nights, but agents work weekends, nights. Agents are always picking up their phone for their clients. And so really I've just matched the entrepreneurial energy that our agents have for their clients.
You definitely walk the walk and you talk the talk. And I believe that that's what sets Compass apart, is that you show us exactly what we should be doing. And that's not to boast you, up as our CEO. I genuinely and truly mean that. And, I've been around multiple people in this industry, obviously, over the course of my career. And people say Compass agents are different. And I say, well, that's because Robert's different. And I genuinely believe that. Brian Pacholski is different. Justin Diadamo was different. All the people, Jared Fleischer is different. And so the fact that birds of a feather flock together is one of my favorite sayings. And I truly believe that the culture that you guys have created is what is attracted.
I do think we're a company of people that wanted to either be a part of, that wanted to come to Compass to create something better. I think, we didn't exist 13 years ago, and almost everyone that chose to came. There's some mergers as well, but those people could have left as well. And when people decide to move to a company, they decide, they have kind of fear, comfort, and loyalty, saying, hey, I'm going to stay where I am. I'm happy at my brokerage. And so you have to overcome those things to want to move to Compass. And I think on balance, the people that decide to come to Compass, they're very passionate people. They're passionate for being better, getting better, being a part of creating better, offset those natural instincts that we all have of, hey, I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm happy where I am. And so I think we're a pretty passionate company.
We definitely are. Speaking of passion, we go and we have what we call the Compass Retreat every year.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you and Benis show up to every event after every session, because I see you at all of them. I try to match. We're like, if Robert's going, I'm going, because if he can keep going, we can keep going. Even though, we're like one eye open and on our 7th cup of coffee. I want to know, why do you do that, number one? And how do you guys do that? Do you ever sleep?
I do sleep. My wife sleeps a little bit more than I do.
She needs to
she has those Aura rings, and every morning she wakes up, and she looks at her score and she tells me what she got. I don't use it anymore because it makes me feel bad about myself. Yeah. I'm not high. I don't get high enough scores. Look, I get energy from those moments, right?
It's reinvigorating for sure.
Yeah, it's reinvigorating with all these agents who chose to come fly with their own money to some place in the country to be with each other, to build referral relationships on behalf of their clients and their businesses and their teams. And so it actually gives me energy. Those things, it does. I do get a little tense around the all company speech where I do the big speech every year, because I feel like I really have to deliver.
Very comfortable.
What do you say?
You appear very comfortable. You'd never know it.
I think I've gotten a little better over time, but I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, because I think I owe it to you to give you all something that delivers on the commitment you made and the investment you made in coming there.
Well, you've had an incredible journey. You've been in finance. You've been in government, I didn't know that. You were a White House fellow. That's incredible. Yeah. I feel like I've known a lot about you. I read your book, but I actually didn't know that until I started really understanding kind of your background. You've been in tech and now real estate. So what keeps you grounded in the why behind it all?
Look, my mom was a single mother. She has been an agent nearly my entire life. She's an agent today at Compass, turning 80 this month.
Go mom.
And she was disowned by her parents because of an interracial relationship. She is white. My dad was black. And so I never really had a family. And so I guess this kind of goes to maybe some of the earlier things you're talking about. Since I never really had a family, just me and my mom, I was always looking for one. when I was in high school, I joined 6 different nonprofits. My mom couldn't give me the resources, which was really smart. She said, hey, there's all these nonprofits you can apply to. They'll give you all these different support in academic and career development and college preparation support. And I had communities there. Then when I went to college, I started working at McKinsey and at Goldman Sachs. I worked, as you mentioned, as a White House fellow in the Bush administration. I know, you're Texas, right? So, but Bush is big there. And then I worked in Mayor Bloomberg's administration in New York City on the Board of Education and the Economic Development Board. And then I started a charter school. I started a nonprofit called New York Needs You then. Now it's America Needs You, where you give college support, career development, and 2 summer internships to students who are first in their family to go to college. And so the way Compass actually came to be, this is interesting, is the biggest donor to the nonprofit said, Robert, and also ran 50 marathons, one in each state to raise $1 million for nonprofits. He said, Robert, I've seen you do all these things for social entrepreneurship, and you did really, really well. What if you took that same energy to start a company, like a business? And he was our first investor. He basically pushed me to start Compass. And the idea back then wasn't nothing what it is now. But what happened unexpectedly is I fell in love with real estate agents in the same way I was in love with students who are first in their family to go to college. Mm-hmm. So students who are first in their family to go to college, we could have chose anything. We could have chose, Black, minorities, immigrants, we could poor. We chose students who are first in their family to go to college across every different kind of background. Because to me, that is the most inspirational person in the world. Like at that time, I was like, if you're first in your family to go to college, you're paving the way for everyone that comes behind you. And you don't have anyone in your family to tell you how to go to this next step. So it's like, let's go support their dreams. And they're like entrepreneurs, right? They're paving the way. Agents they gave me that same thing. You're the largest industry dominated by women. You're an industry, the only industry that pushes people like my mom in their 70s to grow and get better, not pushing out the door. You're an industry of families that work together. You're small business owners. You're such a special group. Regardless of your educational background, you can create a business and you help people every single day. And so I looked at these agents looked at you as this highly amazing group of entrepreneurs who just aren't getting, in my mind, the support that you deserve. And I wanted to create a company that gave you more to help you better serve your clients, create a business that can help you generate more money to support your family and have more time with your family.
So let's talk about that briefly. Compass has always blended high tech with high touch. Yeah. How do you see the agent's role evolving, and how are we preparing for that?
So look, agents are using technology all the time, like the MLS,
AI, everything that you're also integrating into our systems.
Exactly. So right. The average agent uses 11 different tools to run their business. And what we did is we invested $1.8 billion to build an end-to-end platform so agents can just log into one company that's integrated, not 11 different tools they have to stitch together. I think what's really interesting right now is AI. I wasn't always a believer in it. I am now. And what they call it, interestingly enough, is agentic AI. What agentic AI is it's AI that can do tasks for you. It can recommend to you the next task that you should take, in addition to like creating the copy. And so I think agents, what we're working now at Compass is coincidentally AI for AI, agentic AI for, what I call it artificial intelligence to power agent intelligence. But it's not to replace the agents, it's to empower them. And so, in our very extensive platform, I want you to be able to wake up in the morning this year, really this fall. It's going to tell you all
Wow.
the different ways that you can grow your business, serve your buyers, serve your sellers, like in this moment, based on what's happened in the last 24 hours. Every 24 hours is going to tell you that it's going to have a new briefing, a daily briefing of all the things that's recommending that you do, and it will have those tasks already created for you. Call your client, Jane Doe, whose you sold a home to 5 years ago, and it looks like based off the CMA, the comps, that the value's doubled since then. Here's a CMA that you could send them. Push this button, email. But
My gosh.
yeah, and so that's what we're working on right now. I saw a demo of it yesterday again, but we're going to go into beta with our agents probably next month with
I'll
a
be
small
in.
agents.
Send me in. I'm always in.
All right, always in. I like that.
Well, so you're very forward focused, which I really appreciate. So let's talk briefly, because I know we're running close to time, about this market. Agents are tired, interest rates are high, and people have been scared to move. What advice do you have for agents trying to stay in the game?
Um, this has been a long downturn. We had the lowest level of transactions last year in 29 years. We have more noise just in the press about all types of things. It's just noise. It's designed to stress you out,
And
because
distract.
that's how it's what we call clickbait.
Yeah.
And then of course social media is like a different version of that. So you're like,
I don't even watch the news, Robert.
yeah.
I can't.
Look, I turned off some of the news channels and so read some news, but some of the news channels are like it's too much. And I don't like feeling used. And I'm like, it's like someone's like, this is too obvious. They're just trying to use me.
Agree.
But,
And this was somebody that used to work in media, right? So I'm so grateful for this transition, because now I have a different level of stress. At least I'm not like
that's
projecting that stress out to the world and making everybody else stressed out,
yeah. Look, my advice to agents is just know in your mind that the market is going to come back. And my view is it'll come back next spring. It could come back earlier, but next spring. And when the market comes back, you're going to gain market share. There's a sentiment in the business. In down markets, the best agents gain market share. In down markets, the worst agents leave the biz, and the best agents keep the biz. And so you're going to look back when the market comes back and be like, I'm so glad that I was able to get through because I'm doing better than ever before.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Patience and grit, right?
grit, and that's our business. That's what it is to be an entrepreneur.
Right. Exactly. It's not for the faint of heart. And, it goes like this. It's ups and downs and ups and downs. And you just have to learn to be fluid with it. And how do you survive the ups and how do you survive the downs? So last question, because I know we're out of time. You've built Compass from a bold idea into a powerhouse brand. What advice would you give someone who has a vision but is scared to take the first step, especially in a competitive industry?
Look, the best advice I can give you is surround yourself with the most talented people as possible and build it with them. Like I think, and don't be scared to share your idea with others. Some people get scared to share the idea because they want other people to steal it. Everyone has their own life. They're worried about their other things. No one's going to steal your idea. Like share your idea with as many people, get them excited, and talk about it. And you'll find people when their eyes light up. Hey, let's do it together. Or their eyes light up if they're like an investor. Hey, let's invest. But if you're really passionate about it, talk about it more and more. The more you talk about it, the more ideas you'll get. And if you're just in your own head, on a whiteboard, there's nothing's going to happen. So it's like go out there, try it, test it, and just do it.
Definitely in your book, you said something along the lines of, don't be afraid to not be the smartest person in the room. Just
Yeah,
be in the room and ask questions. And
exactly.
I think I'm always asking questions. Anytime you come to town, I'm the first one up. I'm like, Robert, when are we going global? Robert, when are we adding this to the platform? And I know you're always like, Amanda, stop.
No.
Absolutely not. You're so
I'm
gracious
so
with it.
thankful to have you as a leader in Compass. You really reflect the best of the Compass community, and I'm proud of what you've accomplished, and I'm really proud that you've chosen to work at Compass.
Well, I'm here to stay. Thank you
Good.
so much. I know you're a very, very busy guy. And just the fact, again, this is a true testament of leadership, that you made the time to be here. We're so thankful. I'm sure everybody here has taken a lot from it. And again, just thank you for showing up for us every day, for fighting for us every day, for rolling out amazing technology and tools every day, and for listening. It really means a lot.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Robert. Have a good one. Man, so many great nuggets. Did I tell you guys or did I tell you guys? The thing that really stands out to me is I am such an advocate for leadership. I believe that there's so much room at the top for people, and I want to take everybody with me to the top, right? And I truly believe that Robert is creating a culture that he feels exactly the same way. He wants all of the agents here at Compass to be successful, and agents that are outside of Compass, he wants them to be successful. Showing up and being on multiple programs and really talking about what's going on in the industry is not only a benefit of Compass, but it's a benefit of the industry. He's super collaborative with other agencies as well. And, that is something that I think we can all relate to and we can all aspire for. I know that some of the nuggets that I took today obviously was if you're in real estate or if you're in business even, we talked about and we heard Robert say that you've got to have the patience and the grit. Your success isn't going to be like this. It is going to be up and down. You're going to have trenches and you're going to have mountains and you're going to have valleys and you're going to have, highs and lows. And it's just important to keep putting one foot in front of the other, to keep showing up, to keep networking. Remember that. Birds of a feather flock together. You have to show up and be in the room and ask questions and surround yourself around the people that are like-minded. A mentor of mine once said, find somebody who has what you want and do what they do. Robert has what I want. I want $1 billion company. I don't know about you. So I'm like, I'm going to do what he does. There's so many different agents and also fellow business owners not in real estate that I look up to, that I formed relationships with, that I bounce ideas off of. And if you are one of those people that are kind of feeling stuck, find somebody who you can relate to and just be accountability partners. Start having conversations with them. Grab a coffee, connect with each other on Instagram or Facebook. Start asking questions. But more importantly, don't give up. Don't give up. One of the backstories of Robert is that he, as you heard him say, grew up with a single mom and didn't have maybe the things that he would have liked to have had growing up. And so he went out and he was like, I'm going to create it. I'm going to be around the people that have what I have, or that have what I want. So the other element that I implore of you is to be reachable. If you're in business, relationships are what build businesses. Connections are what build businesses, because your relationships, people are going to feel comfortable if they trust you. If you are doing business, whether it's you're building a business or you're helping somebody build a business or you're working for a business, the relationships matter. We are relational people. We are meant to have relationships. And when you're establishing that trust, whether it's in person or online, more people are going to be willing to do business with you. Leadership comes from that desire to help others, to connect and to relate to others. A few of my favorite books that I recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence Others. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites. And then also starting your day, because when you're in leadership, sometimes it's hard, right, to constantly pour into others. You have to be, also filling your cup too. So I have to have leaders that pour into me so that I can pour into others. I'm sure Robert has to fill his cup, to be able to pour into people like me and other agents. So one of my favorite books also that I encourage you to do, we're going to start a little Goodreads list. Okay. So add this one to your list also, is Miracle Morning. That one is amazing. The early bird gets the worm is definitely one of the sayings that is super relevant when it comes to business. Start your morning right. You want to get up early. You want to have your me time. You want to fill your cup first thing so that you can then go and pour into others. I'm actually going to Austin, my editor here, starts his day by pouring into all of us, by praying over us before every podcast. And that is such a tremendous quality that he has here, that allows me to have the energy. I was a little nervous today. I was feeling a little off my game, and he started immediately by that. So listen, everything that you do is a connection, and it's a seed that's been planted, okay? And you may not feel like you're a leader, but every interaction that you have, whether it's in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, whether it's picking up your coffee at Starbucks, whether it's getting your kiddos from school and you're interacting, with the teachers there, every connection is a seed that's been planted in that person's life, and that is leadership. The power of being visible and present and grounded and humble as a leader is something that really can trickle through an organization. So if you're running a business, if you've got a team or you've got people underneath you, it really does start from the top, and it's really important to not have that negative energy infiltrate your business, because it can spread like a seed, right? So leadership starts from the top. You build other leaders underneath you, and that's what creates a powerhouse organization, much like what Robert Reffkin has created here at Compass. So, hearing from a leader like Robert reminds me that the best leadership isn't about titles. It is about presence. It's about showing up. It's about staying curious and being the kind of person people want to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. When I started this transition, it never once, we get contacted, oh my gosh, several times a year by different brokerages asking us for a meeting to come and talk to them. And every time I'm like, respectfully, no, thank you so much. I'm happy to listen about your company because I'd like to get to know you, but I am all in here. And the reason is because I trust that the Compass leadership, Robert and his team and our sales managers, they lead with purpose. They're reachable, they're touchable, they're always present. And maybe that should be the word in such a hard market, right? Is just being present, showing up on social media, showing up for your clients, always responding even when you don't want to. Present is the key for the second half of 2025. Can we agree on that? I think so. All right, guys, if today's episode lit something up in you, I want to encourage you to dig deeper. Two of my favorite reads for any bold-hearted leader, aside from the books that I've already recommended, is going to be Robert's own book, No One Succeeds Alone. If you want to be inspired, definitely do that. If you want to know what makes a brilliant man like that, who built a billion-dollar company that's gone public now from scratch just 13 years ago, read that book. And then Brené Brown's Dare to Lead. One reminds you that your story matters, and the other reminds you that courage and clarity go hand in hand. So, you guys, whether you're here running a team or maybe launching a new brand or a podcast or simply leading yourself through your next big chapter, don't underestimate the power of integrity, of vision, of showing up when it counts. Don't underestimate the power of you and the power that you have for other people. Don't underestimate you showing up and what that does for those around you and what that does for your business, because you do matter. And I do believe that you can do this too. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Robert, if you're watching, thank you for joining us today. What an incredible, incredible message that you've brought to our watchers here, our listeners. You guys, if this inspired you in any way, I'd love if you'd subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone building their own brand or business. I'm sure there's a lot that they can learn from all the little nuggets, the beautiful little nuggets that Robert kept dropping, and hopefully that maybe you've heard from me as well. But always remember, you guys, real talk, real tea, real stories, unapologetically told here at Real to the T, because you can't make magic in beige lighting. Y'all know I love my white lighting. They wanted tea, but you gave them bubbles because you're a champagne friend. So until next time, stay fabulous, stay fearless, and always spill it like it is.
That's a wrap on this episode of Real to the Tea, where we served the real, spilled the tea, and left you with that motivational magic on top. If you laughed, gasped, or shouted same at any point, hit that subscribe button, drop a review, and share it with your ride or die. Follow Amanda on Instagram at Amanda Rupley, and catch the unfiltered visuals at Real to the Tea on YouTube and the Gram.